Yes.
All right. Welcome to
Cool.
another episode of Connecting Politics. We're here with a special guest. Please introduce yourself by telling us your name, where you're currently located, and your favorite snack.
Okay. Shagi Defoe. I am currently located in my ninth floor apartment in Beijing, China. Um, my favorite snack. Whew, there's a few, but I will have to say Cracker Jacks. Yeah, I'm a,
Nice,
I'm a Cracker
nice,
Jack guy. I'm a Cracker Jack
nice.
guy. It's not good for you, but I love it. Yeah.
All right. What's your fondest memory from childhood?
Hmm. Um, so I'm from the Caribbean, so um, American football is not a big thing there. But a couple of my friends where I grew up, we used to watch the games and which we would reenact it the best way we could, not knowing the rules or anything. But um, it's a Caribbean island, so that it rains a lot, and there's a massive cricket field. So when it rains a lot, they can't play cricket, and the guys that play football on the field they can't play football either. But we can do American football. So I think my fondest memory was taking over the cricket pitch and playing American football and at least trying to play American football with my friends. Um, I think that sports in general, with my friends back home, are probably my fondest memories growing up, and stealing fruit from people's gardens. Yeah, that's yeah.
That was what type of fruit?
Mangoes, papayas. We have this thing called guineps, which is kind of like it's part of the lychee family, but it's green and it tastes completely different from a lychee. But we have this in back in the Caribbean, and yeah, steal it all the time. Steal it for
Nice,
ourselves or sell it to sell.
nice, nice. What how do you think your childhood helped groom you into who you are today?
Phew, you know, I knew about these questions ahead of time and I should have planned. Uh, uh, I think the way myself, me, I'm kind of only speak for myself, but the way I was raised in a community back home where I shouldn't necessarily be here by statistical measure. I should either be back home working at the bank or being in the government, or if a stretch, maybe medical profession or something, but to be in China doing marketing, branding, strategy was something that nobody could have imagined, nor could I.
Mm,
But I think what prepared me for this was my mom. Um, she worked in a hotel for most of my life, and she was of the type of person that would love her kids to be would experience different things from what she could, because she was always curious. So she would like introduce us to people from different nationalities, educate us about like dishes that we were not familiar with, make us very curious about the outside world, and I think from that introduction to curiosity and trying new things and doing new things and being around people that are not necessarily of your complexion or that don't speak like you do, that made me see things differently. So I would see billboards, I would see ads, I would read from my business, my high school business book in a different way than everybody else would. And that curiosity led me to be adventurous. Took my first trip solo when I was, I think, 9 or 10. And I went to the neighboring island of Guadeloupe by myself. And then I did a few other trips, escaped without my parents' permission. Back then, I guess the security was lax. But and just exploring different nationalities and different ethnicities and seeing all this type of stuff wanted me to explore further. And that what brought me to China originally was to do my undergrad in marketing, which was a complete coincidence, a complete accident, and a fluke. And people might say the stars were aligned for this, but it was complete madness. I learned about the scholarship in May, and I was here in August of 2004.
wow.
And nobody really wanted to go. People were like, "Why? China is crazy, mad." But I was just like, "Yeah, why not?" You know. And I came here and I did marketing in uni, which was, I guess it's like most schools, you don't really learn particularly what your career is at school, whereas you meet people, you get the skeleton of it, and then over time you develop your own path. So I developed the skeleton in Chinese. I developed my path in Chinese, and I learned how to meander through street culture and music and entertainment, and all these things kind of like just formulated me into this adult that I am still growing into. And I think just curiosity. If I have to make this a simple answer, curiosity.
Yeah. And what would you say are the most important lessons you've learned from your parents?
From my mom, adventure, curiosity. Um, yeah, I think those two are primary from my mom. My dad, security, structure, discipline. um, the love of staying home. My dad loves to stay home, and I do too.
Right, right.
Yeah, I think those are the, yeah. And from my mom also, food. I have a knack for being a foodie.
Eating food or making food?
Both, both. My mom, she never really taught me recipes because she didn't have recipes either, but she would create stuff and then she would have me on the kitchen counter. And I would look and she would show me. And now I tend to cook most of my meals here. So I guess I got that from her. And the appreciation of a good rum. Yeah. My parents, growing up, my dad doesn't drink anymore, but my mom still does a little bit. And they loved rum. And my family is like about 10 minutes from my home. My family owns a rum distillery. My uncles and them run it. So I grew up around rum and knowing agricoles and how they're prepared and how they're aged and bottled and all that, the whole system.
Yeah.
One of my goals is actually to have my own sub brand from that distillery over here. But we'll see how that goes. But
Nice,
yeah, appreciation for fine rum.
nice, nice. What's something in your life that you're not willing to live without?
Oof. One thing,
I mean, it could be
a,
you could do a couple.
a
You could do a
possession,
couple.
and this is a possession, right?
No, no, no. It could be, for some people it is possessions. For some people it's family, or some people it's an idea.
Okay.
You know.
Uh idea part, I guess, never ceasing ambition of doing more. Although I love downtime, the downtime makes me think of stuff to do when I'm not in downtime. So
Yeah.
the ambition to do and create more. Um, my iPhone and good rum.
Back
Yeah,
to
I love me a
rum.
good rum.
Back to rum. What are your favorite things to do for self care?
Cycling. Um, when I was a kid, I loved cycling. And one of the things that I always wanted to do that I never got into was skateboarding. Because again, back in the Caribbean, we don't skateboard. Um, but I've been meaning to try to pick it up now, but at my age, I'm like, I'm gonna bust my ass and probably not a good thing. But cycling is something that I did when I was a kid and I can still do now, rather safely. So every now and then, like every week, I try to do at least 3 rides, go maybe like 10 to 15 kilometers every like 3 times a week. I love a fixie. I have a fixed gear bike and I've had one for like the last 10 years. I've always had one, but I love taking my bike and just exploring new parts of Beijing. And yeah, I think those are, yeah, that's it.
Nice. What
Basketball
motivates?
sometimes, but I haven't. Sorry to a little bit basketball, but I haven't played in so
Okay,
long, so I don't want to put it on the list.
so
Go ahead.
cycling and basketball. That's good. That's a good mix.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say? What motivates you, or make you, or excites you? and it can't be rum.
What motivates me and excites me? My wife. Yeah, I would say my wife is number one. And not because I have to say that, but um, she does. She's super supportive, super kind, super caring. And when I see her dealing with other people or whatnot, I feel like a complete douchebag. She's so sweet. So when I see her do things, I feel like I can pretty much do anything. Um, but apart from her, I think go back to curiosity. I just keep want to try stuff.
Mm.
I never want to rest on my laurels. It's just the engine always keeps churning. There's always something new, whatever it is. A new book, a new podcast. Like I'm always curious as to just trying and learning something new, seeing something new. So curiosity at the end of the day.
Nice, nice. What do you do in your professional life, and how did you get to where you are? You kind of alluded to it already, but
Yeah. Right now, my two main gigs. I am the international brand rep for a startup brand. So we're not really, well, we're re-startup because we started about a year and a half ago. It's a clothing brand, and we're doing um, city boy genre of clothing, which is a Japanese aesthetic, and we're bringing that here to China. And we're relaunching the brand in June next month. But we hadn't started. We started already last year, where there was another brand, but then we had an issue with back office people, and we had to change everything up. So right now, my job is the same, but with a new concept, a new aesthetic of a clothing company.
mm.
The brand is called the Archive brand. You'll be hearing about it by June. I think mid June.
Say
It will
that
be
again. Say that again. There was a
archive,
delay in your footage.
the Archive brand,
Okay.
and you'll be hearing about it by next month. So that's one. Second, I am a co-founder of a sunglasses brand called Dynasty. We started the brand about 5 years ago here in Beijing, and we create custom frames for different enterprises. We did for Mercedes and BMW and Porsche, and we also have a small line that we sell at retail and online to other people throughout Asia. Third, I'm also the co-founder of Jing Tings, which is a food consultancy. We did a couple restaurants here, Crow's Nest, a couple bars, and we're hopefully going to launch our first imprint in Bali next year. It was supposed to be done this year, but situation. So we should be launching a pizza concept in Bali next year. And I also do some consulting for marketing and branding for certain brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staying busy. I mean, it
A
sounds
little
like
bit.
at the core, yeah, it sounds like at the core you're, an entrepreneur and that likes creating,
Yeah.
new things. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you learned recently that changed your perspective on a subject or a product or an idea?
It's gonna be a weird thing to say, especially in my profession, but over the last couple of years, a friend of mine owns this company called the Bulk House, which they educate and they sell products that are based on the zero waste lifestyle, so sustainability through
Mm.
products. And they came up around a couple of years ago, and he introduced it to me, and since then I've been thinking a lot about my carbon footprint and fast fashion and how it's marketed and how it's sold to people. And again, I'm in the industry, so it's a conflict of interest, of course. But on a personal level, I try to reduce my carbon footprint as much as possible and maintain a minimalist lifestyle in terms of stuff and how I purchase products. Instead of buying something that I think would be cool for today, the question is, will it be good in 10, 20, 30 years now? So I tend to buy quality over quantity now. And yes, I'm in the industry, but I'm trying with my partners, and we're trying to also bring that to fashion with our brand, where we're trying to focus on quality where you buy a jacket or you buy a t-shirt, it's going to last you for 5, 10 years instead of just breaking down. And because that's one of the biggest things is buying quality over quantity. And I think that's one of my biggest quandaries in the last couple of years, trying to mesh those two worlds where I want to reduce plastic waste and fast retail and all that stuff. But I also work in the industry where we produce the products. So try to find a balance of those two worlds. And I think that's why I cycle a lot more in the last couple of years instead of taking the cab. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have any advice, if you could, for your younger self?
Hmm. Listen to dad more, maybe.
Did you say listen to dad more? Is that what you
Yeah.
said? Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
You would have to send this to him. Like, just cut that out and send it to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think listen to dad more. Which I mean I heard him, but it just didn't settle. Whereas with my mom, me and her, our personalities are more alike, where we tend to do without thinking and tend to do for today and not think about tomorrow, whereas he's the planner.
Uh,
Um, so I think giving him more emphasis than mom. Uh, yeah, I think, yeah, listen to dad more.
yeah,
And
so
I'm,
so so since we went there, what would you say the best advice from dad that you didn't listen to? You know, like, what was the best advice that you got from dad but you didn't
99% of
listen?
everything. I would have to say 98% of everything that he said to me. Um, oh my, save your money. um, uh, uh, save your money. Focus more in school. Although that can go neither here or there. Don't be so open-minded and free-spirited, I guess. Maybe I'm a bit too much, whereas I tend to not have discipline for things that I probably should have, I guess. If I want to, we could dive into this for a long therapy session. But yeah, I tend to beat to the sound of my own drum, whereas my dad beats to societal drum. And I live in China where society kind of matters.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
independent thinking is not a thing that's like wow in China. So
yeah,
yeah, every single thing he's probably said since I was
yeah.
five.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I'm sure he would love this video.
He's gonna
So.
freak out on this.
He's gonna love this. This is great. This is great.
Yeah.
You know, that's
And I'm also gonna
good.
send it
That's
to my brothers and they're gonna be like, why did you say that, dude? Like
good.
don't tell him that, man. Don't tell him that. Don't let that out. To the
Oh
grave, to the
man.
grave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What would you say? Okay, what has been the toughest thing you've had to tackle, and what helped you get through it?
Toughest thing that I had to tackle. Uh, Flunking out of college the first time. Well, the only time I flunked out. Um, that was hard. It wasn't hard for me at the time because again, free spirit, but it was hard for my family and them to understand that I wasn't really built for traditional education.
Mm.
I think that was tough on them. They have since, I think, for my mom especially, she's definitely gotten over it. But my dad is probably still, it's probably still a scar. And I was pretty like obese growing up as a kid, like as a teenager. Figuring out why, because it's not just that you eat a lot of food, it's also the fact that there's something maybe you're not addressing psychologically and understanding. So that's what got me into sports. Is was I was I was compensating with food because of probably being home and being bored and not having friends, and I had to push myself out of that bubble to play more sports and be more social. And yeah, so bopping that, to quote Issa, awkward black guy or awkward black boy syndrome. I was awkward and quiet and shy and introverted, and I had to pop that bubble. That was a tough thing to get through. Um, um, what else? I think those are the two main issues
Yeah.
that I had to really
And
overcome.
yeah, and how did you go about breaking through the bubble of being introverted
Uh,
and
it,
shy?
I think it wasn't not one thing. It was just, I guess, like trying. You know, the fear of trying is a very powerful thing. You probably can do it, but that little fear at the back saying maybe you're gonna suck. So like going to the basketball court with my brothers and playing when I sucked, but going through it anyway, pushing through that. And after I started like maybe in January going to the basketball court with my brothers and like learning about the game and watching game film. And then by September, I was on the school basketball team, and I was playing better than my brothers. So it was that first few months of just trying was tough because my ways of just home watching Saved by the Bell, cartoons, Snickers, and just being happy like that. But then just them pushing me to inching me. They weren't like saying it, but they were inching me towards like, you gotta get out, you gotta get out. And I slowly did that. And my mom also pushed me. So I think it was just determination to just try, and I broke through a barrier and came out at the end of it. And I credit all of that to sports. Just being in an environment of athletics, and I met a lot of my longtime friends now from since those days are still my friends today, and we talk about the game even if we don't play anymore or we can't even handle a 30-minute sesh, but we talk about it. And it's good to have that now, but it was tough to get through to that first
Yeah,
step.
yeah. What
Yeah,
qualities or character traits do you admire in other people?
honesty is definitely. I think probably honesty is the top on the list. I don't. I tend to not deal with people that beat around the bush and make things excessively long when it should be 1 plus 1 is 2. They make 1 plus half plus a plus z, and they go behind. I don't like that kind of stuff. Like, it just wastes my time. Yeah, I I would say honesty and uh, yeah, that's it. That's a big word. That's a big word. Covers a lot of topics. Honesty.
Yeah, yeah,
That's it, pretty much.
that's a great one. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what will you do?
How much?
We're talking 500 to 700 million US.
Apple stock. Probably getting some Tesla stock too.
Okay.
Getting some General Mills stock. Gonna buy a lot of stocks first.
I see. I see.
Yeah. Second, do you have to give the proportions?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's say it's 500 million. Let's break it down. Okay, 500
Okay.
mil. I would do 300 mil in stocks. A whole 300 million stocks. 100,
Wow.
give it to my mom. She can do whatever she wants with it.
Wow.
That leaves me with what? One more?
Yeah.
Yeah, one more. I would give half to that I can't think of right now. That I was split it between my the other half I split it between my brothers. Yeah, that's it. Done. So
Nice.
I don't need to buy anything.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So for our final question, how do you define success?
Joy in all its forms. Peace, joy, and all these words, people would definitely think that you don't really need, because people define success by monetary gain, of course. Money is important, of course, because it's legal tender. You need it to buy milk. And I love my cornflakes. But joy, like having peace of mind and freedom. I mean, that's what it is in the end of the day. Wealth is just a lubrication for freedom. Freedom to buy whatever you want, do whatever you want, give to whatever you want. That's what it does. It's not really a measure of anything. You can't take the money with you to the grave. Yes, you can build legacy, but what are your grandkids going to do? They're probably going to blow it on Lamborghinis. So it doesn't really matter. It's for your own person. It's about joy and just being happy to be with the ones you love and help them out when needed. So for me, success is, if you want to go like individual success, like for my company, like, yeah, there's some financial targets and KPIs you want to reach, but again, that goes back to bringing me joy at the end of the day. Peace of mind.
Nice. Well, that's a great place to end. We connected, we politic, and we'll definitely do this again in the near future.
Yeah, man, I hope we can do it face to face next time.
Yeah.
Either I'll be on your side of the world or you'll be on mine. Can't wait to try